The sun is glittering on the sea of the Mediterranean as this day in Athens is turning a little bit dour. You were supposed to meet Elena and supposed to be taken to the great archaeological dig of the professor Alexandros Georgios, who really wanted to share his finds with you, Harry. And you, Paul, maybe if you could get your hands on some of these finds before they hit the normal market, that would be great. But neither of these things are currently happening, as Elena hasn't shown up. And you only know that you have to make your way out to Phylakes. You've found the island on a map. It's a little bit of a boat drive, and it's a very small island. So who knows if you'll be able to locate it.
Well, I actually have something that possibly might help us. After all, there I am with Paul, thinking to myself that I'm not the best seaman, and I'm not entirely sure Paul is either. And then I say, wait, hang on a minute. Hang on. Dino. Ah, yes, Dino. You recall Dino? We might be able to find him, hire his boat out. I spend 1 story point because I have the ability to always know someone at a location.
Yes, indeed you do. And, Paul, do you know Dino?
Dino, yes. I think we met. It was during one of our voyages. We were in Portugal, I think, yes, in Lisbon. It was, it was another one that turned out quite violent and dangerous, wasn't it?
It certainly was, and his boating skills came in most useful. Although I do believe these days, last I heard, he had retired and was taking up the simple life, merely running a little fishing boat here in Athens. We might be able to get his help.
Yeah, and you walk along the pier, and you see quite a few old sea dogs and younger fishermen as well, and there are operators of all kinds working through the things they are packaging and unloading off the ships. And there it is. There is a little house just squared in between containers that says Dino's Private Tours. Oh, seems like he is starting to make money off a bit of tourism. Quaint and nice and painted white, as it should be.
Aha! There it is. I knew this was the place. I knew it. I told you I knew it.
Excellent.
Well, he might be able to rent us out a boat, maybe even sail us himself, and then we don't need to worry about crashing a fishing boat into the, into the water.
It would be a bad thing to die in the Mediterranean, I agree.
So you come into the shop, and it's nicely decorated with nets and porcelain or ceramic fishes dangling, and there's a fan standing in a corner, but it's not on right now. It's still a nice time of the year, and you see sitting by a desk, there is Dino. Oh goodness, he has certainly put on a bit of weight and is struggling a little bit to get up. He's about closer to your age as well, Harry.
Oh, Harry! Harry, what a pleasure! I can't believe I see you again.
Dino, you scoundrel, you rogue! Look at him, it's me, and it's Paul as well!
Dino!
And he just, his smile completely disappears from his face.
It's you! It's the scoundrel! The one you... I'm pretty sure my... You get out of this office. The last time I saw you, I'm so sure that it was lighter on cash in the whole register.
I am unfortunately used to situations like this. I get accused of things that honestly weren't my fault. I mean, yes, I do steal, but I don't steal from everyone. But, well, when you get a bad reputation, you get a bad reputation, and you have to live with those consequences. I'll get thrown out of here. I want those story points.
Yes, and let's say then that he grabs you by you don't have time to react before he's grabbed you by the scruff of your neck and the lining of your trousers, and you are soaring through the air just managing to catch your balance before tumbling over the pier and down into the water. And you're now drenched and will definitely go and need to get a change of clothes.
Yes, I will.
Oh my goodness. Now, come, Dino. Surely you've taught him a good lesson. Look at that, a good drenching. Perhaps he did deserve it.
I've been waiting to do that for many years now. Oh, it feels good to get up and moving again. You see, I've become so stationary as of late, sitting here and organizing the travels. I don't really go out myself anymore. What brings you to Athens, my good old friend?
Well, my good boy, the darndest thing. A good friend of mine, Professor Alexandros, is conducting an expedition to an island just off the coast. Here, I don't know if you know where it is. It seems quite a small island, and I will show him the map with the very small island on it.
I've been there myself a few years back. I thought they had uncovered everything already. There are some beautiful ruins, but aside from that, mostly it lives shepherds. There are a few cottages and people living on it. What is he doing on that place?
Oh, well, I don't know. He seems to have found something extraordinary. We're trying to head there. We were supposed to be taken there by his granddaughter, Elena, but unfortunately we seem to have missed her. I do hope nothing's amiss, but we thought best to head there directly ourselves. But trouble is, old bean, you know me, I'm not the best boatman. Perhaps I could interest you in a little boat trip. I'm willing to pay.
Oh, well, my sea legs aren't quite what they used to be. Would you like me to come with you to this? And I haven't been there for a while. It could be interesting.
It could indeed. I mean, I wouldn't want to put you out. Even just travel there, waiting by boat, and travel back for the day would be absolutely fine. But of course, you are more than welcome to get involved if you wish. Up to you, my dear friend.
You want to rent the boat and go yourself, yeah?
Oh,
That's
well,
manageable.
Well, again, I confess your actual boating would be useful. It's been a while since I've been at sea.
And he looks a bit doubtful as to whether or not to lend you one of his boats. What will you try and do to convince him otherwise?
Let's see. Possibly try and use my credit to give him a good bit of payment here.
Yes, you can definitely do that, and there will be no penalties on that roll if you want to roll for credit.
So that is a 50. My credit rating is 45%. I think I might spend 2 story points to flip that to a 5.
I will let you just use 1 story point, because you've already used one just to find this old friend.
Oh, very well then, yes. Listen, my dear boy, again, I would be more than willing to, facilitate your time, and I take out my wallet and begin putting down the current currency, before then adding a few more. And how about maybe a little extra? I know you probably boat maintenance and all that, totally understandable.
That is, fine. I cannot give you my best. You will not expect a luxury yacht.
No, even a rowboat will do.
No, you are not rowing to Philakis. I have a simple motor boat that you can maneuver. It's quite easy to use. Come with me, I'll show you. And he takes you out to sea, and it's a small motorboat with few luxuries. And you look at the map together, and he tries to give you a few bits of advice on how to maneuver the boat and through the sea down to Philakis. So it's starting to grow late now. You did spend a large part of the day waiting for Elena. Will you try and do this during the night? I mean, Paul, you've been able to change to get back here, or will you wait to do this in the morning?
I do look at the darkening sky. Paul, I see you managed to dry off. What do you say? I suppose we could head immediately, but it is getting dark and all.
I take a deep drag of my cigarette. Well, the night does seem a little bit dangerous. Morning is best. We're not necessarily in a rush, right? I mean, plus it will be a much nicer view that way.
Okay, well then, I suppose we've got the boat. It's all ready to go. I've paid for it. On the way back, you must shake hands with Dino and apologize.
I have nothing to apologize for, Harry. I didn't do anything, but fine. I take your point. I'll try to make him like me.
Exactly, that's the spirit, and I believe you, I do, but again, you know how it is. Sometimes a handshake and a good hello is all you need to get on in life.
Well, it works for some people and better than it does for others. But I will certainly make an attempt.
5 minutes later, you are crawling out of the sea again, drenched, and Harry is standing next to you as Dino is once again closing the door to his shop.
I give a big thumbs up to Paul. See?
I really hope that he's forgiven me now. 2 times in the drink. Where am I going to dry all these clothes?
Luckily, you will have a first-class hotel, and that gets sorted out. They're not very impressed with your outfits, some of them having a bit more moth holes and scabs than they should have, but as you get them back, some of them are actually sewn up, and they look better than they did before.
Yes. This is actually quite nice. I could get used to this, I think to myself.
The next morning, then, this young man, this Costas, he shows up, the man from the restaurant who was playing the oil drum, the friend of Jason and Medea, and he speaks in broken English and gives you the address of Elena's place, which is an apartment almost on the way to the docks. In fact, you can decide to go there, or you can just set out on your course now.
I do raise an eyebrow a little. I look to Paul. This is her address. I mean, would it be a little untoward to go and check on the poor thing on the way? It would clear a lot of things up.
Yes, and I mean, if something has happened to her, perhaps we can be of assistance. I think we should pay her a visit.
Indeed, Paul, I think so. Very well, then. After you, sir.
Yes. I'll take the lead, and I guess we'll drive over there then, seeing how we have vehicles.
You both get into Paul's compact car for this one as you're on the way, and you find another set of apartments. This one clearly for university students, in fact, people who are studying. She must be studying herself, you guess, as you walk through a few of the nice alcoves of the place, and you see many people sitting, writing, discussing things. It almost gives you the feel of old, ancient Greece, where philosophy was being discussed on a daily basis. And there it is, the apartment. It says Georgios just on the outside, which is the same surname as the professor. But upon knocking on the door, there's no response.
I knock on the door again and very loudly say, "Hello! Hello, Alina! Alina!"
And before long, as you're making a bit of a ruckus, there's another young girl that comes over. Could she be her? Hello, excuse me?
Hello, we are looking for Elena. Is she around today?
No, my name is Melina Yanis. I have actually been worrying a lot myself. Who are you? Do you know her?
We are friends of her father. She was supposed to pick us up. We're supposed to go meet with her father. You see, he's out on an expedition. But yes, she didn't show up, and we were worried that something might have happened.
She is standing there, hugging a few books, and with big, round spectacles on her nose. And she does look genuinely worried. Well, there was a man. I saw him running up to the place as I was just leaving. It was all suspicious because he did not look like a university student. He had a fez. Is that what it's called? A little red thing. I think maybe he was Turkish. I saw her with him one of the few days before. They were talking and arguing about something, and that is all I know. But I have the key here for her place. I haven't dared to go in myself.
Oh, we could come with you if you would be willing to open up.
She just hesitates and she hands it over to you, the key.
Oh, well, I suppose if you're concerned about your friend, well, Paul, I guess it wouldn't be too untoward to enter a young lady's home. Maybe you should lead the way. Maybe.
Certainly. But do come with us. I wouldn't want there to be any misunderstandings.
Of course. I'll just be right behind you. I don't know, in case there's someone there.
Of course. We will make sure that you're safe, I say. And I open up I put the key in the keyhole and I will try and open the door.
And you manage to do so. It's a cramped space, set for a student, but with a little table and dining area and a bed. But gosh, the whole place is ransacked, turned upside down. You could tell, though, Paul, in your profession, seeing that this is not a robbery. It's not as if valuables seem to have been stolen. As you go through the place, even in the bathroom, everything is just turned upside down. Possibly as if someone was looking for something.
I look to Harry and to our new friend here. It looks like someone has been going over this apartment and searching for something. It's not been robbed. They've been looking for something specific. I suppose it could have been Elena herself, although, well, you don't normally...
No, she wouldn't do this. This is definitely not her. And why would she? Oh, I hope she's all right.
I frown a little. I take a moment to take out my pipe and start smoking. Good for the Constitution and all that. I start looking around. I'm not the greatest at all this, but maybe I'll be lucky. I'd like to spend one story point to get one clue.
You have a very quick look at the place. You're standing there enjoying your pipe and the smoke that it produces. You just see something sticking out under the mattress. Looks like a little book.
I say, Paul, that looks a little unusual.
I have lit up as well, and I've offered a cigarette to Melina as well. Good for her, you know.
Yes, she smokes as well. Everyone smokes in these times, because they thought that was good. So yes, she smokes as well, though she's puffing quite nervously. Oh, I think that's her diary.
Oh my goodness. Perhaps. Well, I don't know, young lady. Maybe could provide something useful. Would you mind reading maybe the latest entries for us? Naturally, we don't want to read anything else. Of course.
She sets her books down and she goes over on slightly shaky legs, and she sits down on the bed and pulls out the diary from under the mattress. It says she's going to an excavation. Her grandfather has found something. It's at an island called Philakes, and she doesn't seem very excited, but it's going to make a topic for her major thesis, and I suppose work for the summer. Then, there's a note here saying that she has seen 2 men around. One Turkish man with a fez, and one she think might be Russian. They were speaking in Russian to each other. What does this mean?
My goodness, Paul. I don't know about you, but something about this smells very rotten indeed. Very rotten indeed, my old friend.
Yes. Clearly, these men are trying to... they might be looking for the same thing as the grandfather is, as the good professor is looking for. They might have thought that they would find that in her apartment. I wonder. I would have thought that maybe she would have gotten kidnapped or something like that in order to extort something from the professor, but... No, this is a mystery. We need more information in order to learn what has truly happened here. They do seem to be, well, not friendly, so we need to realize that we are in a dangerous situation here.
Indeed, my friend, indeed. I'm unsure how to proceed next. Should we inform the authorities, or should we head to the island at once? I'm unsure.
I can tell the police for you if you want to.
Yes, please.
Yes, please do.
And that is what you decide upon then, as Melina goes to tell what she has found to the police and have them investigate the place as well, while the two of you decide to set out onto the Aegean Sea. So you've got your boat, and you bring your provisions, what you can, I suppose. No compact car going on this little vessel. And we are going to make a challenge check here, which means that we're going to combine several skills, and the amounts of successes on the skills will decide how well you succeed on this challenge. Then we got 5 skills. We've got 2 for Paul and 2 for Harry. Why don't you roll and see?
All right. I roll alertness, first of all, keeping an eye out to see if, I see anything. And I roll 17 underneath 45, so that goes quite well.
Amazing. We've got 1 success then in our challenge for sure.
Meanwhile, I begin helping get out the boat, set everything up. Again, it's been a while, but I do remember the basics. I'll roll my endurance, and I get a 2 under 65.
Oh, wow. Terrific. That's really great. 2 successes already.
And then, I will do some driving. I've driven these kinds of vehicles, boats, during the war at times, and afterwards as well. I'll make an attempt here. And look at that. A 4 underneath 45.
Wow, I was wondering if this one was going to be a trouble for us, but okay, so far so good.
Well, don't you worry, because when I then start trying my best to get the bloody motor actually started, I shall roll a 68 over 15. That is a failure.
That's not too bad then. Do we have any skills left?
1 willpower, just as you see me battering this motor. Bloody thing back in my day! 23 under 65. Much better. Success.
So we have 4 success checks out of 5, is that right?
Yes.
It is.
Fantastic. You make it out on the sea after Harry having banged the motor to start. It actually doesn't start, so you start rowing out, but somewhere about 100 yards out or so, it's like the engine starts going by itself, almost like a car being pushed. And it takes a little while to do some crazy maneuvering from getting Harry from the rows, falling over into the boat, grabbing a hold of the engine as the boat is running around in circles, and fishermen are in part cheering you on and in part trying to pull away the nets that they're starting to lay out from you. There are foul words, including Malaka, being shouted out at you as you zigzag and cross in between these vessels, trying not to drop any of your valuable equipment as you do so. And we are on our way, and we get a good outcome. Could have been a great one if we succeeded on all skills, but good outcome, well, you're a bit into the afternoon, and you look at the map. You look at the places you've passed by. You're pretty sure that was, one of the other islands that you've crossed by. And here it is. This is a beautiful island. As you circle it, you see olive groves growing on at least 4 sides of it. There are paths going down to the sea in various places. There are small bits of archipelago, like smaller little cliffs scattered around it. So you'll have to be a little bit careful not to go aground. But as you come to one of the sides, because of your good outcome, you spot a pier. And on the pier is a person. not looking too active, but they might be a lookout. You think, Paul, that's what they might be?
I point this out to Harry. There's someone keeping an eye out. If we want to approach without being seen, we had better avoid their gaze.
I say, you might be right. Maybe we should park just a little down the coastline instead. I don't know, Paul. Call me ballet paranoid, but I find this fellow highly suspicious.
Oh, he is very suspicious.
Well, then I will take your lead on the stealthy approach. But again, you have to give me some points. I did say that if I hit that motor enough, it would work, and by golly God, it did.
It certainly did.
Yes, and it's making a low, happy, kind of satisfied sound as you then choose to go a little bit down the coast. And you pass by a few other cliffs, and you don't find any perfect places to set ashore, but through willpower and getting your feet wet. Well, Harry, you've got your fantastic boots. They never get your feet wet. You could wade in and tie the boat up, makeshift place with a few of the rocks there.
Damn straight. That's exactly what I'll do, and as I'm doing it, I'll say to Paul, I think it might be time for the old Paris maneuver, as we did back in, what was it, 55? Maybe you should go ahead and have a little look. You're a little bit better at hiding than I am.
I will do just that, and I get off the boat into the water. I'm used to getting wet now. I've been wet a lot these last few days. So I'll just do that, get ashore, and I will begin to reconnoiter and see if I can find, well, the professor or some threats. Try to just understand what we have ahead of us here.
It's a quite stony beach site, and you manage to scramble up the stones and start to make your way at what appears to be one of these olive groves. And it doesn't take too long before you hear people talking in the distance. Why don't you roll me a sneak task check then, to see if you can manage to approach quietly.
That's a 22. That's karma and a very nice success.
And fantastic, which means you get another story point as well.
I have racked up quite a few now, 11 at this point.
You come over a little hill, yes, after the olive grove, and it appears that the inner part of this island is quite sandy, and there's not much grass or anything going, but there are ruins. Quite a lot of them, like old walls sticking up, columns turned over, stones jutting out a little bit here and there, so you can kind of make your way and crisscross in between them. And just as you look over one of the walls, you see two people standing right there, looking down at what appears to be the dig site. They seem to be having a smoke break, and they're not Greek, you think. What do you think we're going to do with what are you going to do with your bit of the money? Well, me personally, I like to buy myself maybe a nice car. Maybe I can buy a gun. You know, I want a gun just like Islav has. Yeah, I wanted to get a gun as well. That's what gives you status, man. That's really cool. They seem to be from not Greece, and they have to speak English to converse with each other. Yeah, one of them is wearing a classical kind of mobster hat with a yellow shirt, and there's a bush of hair sticking up over the chest as he's flicking a cigarette just over his shoulder, while the other one is just wearing a flowery shirt and one of these like shepherd hats, like a little cap. So they're talking about guns and money. You already get a feeling that, yes, these are not the finest folks that might have the best intentions for this place.
I would like to try to learn something important from this. I mean, they do seem to have some direct connection with the bad things that have been happening here. The accents, they match, or at least one of them does. I want to try and utilize my sixth sense and spend 2 story points to note something important in this scene.
You just dodge the cigarette that's being flung over one of the person's shoulder, and the other one goes on talking, but you can see he's getting a bit distracted, and he's looking down at something that is below the hill, and down there you see people moving about. And as you follow his gaze, you see he's laid his eyes on a beautiful lady. And having visited Elena's apartment, you have seen photos of her there as well. And you believe that that's her, standing, dusting something off in the sun that she has found, with 2 more kind of matching guards, if you think that that's what they are, standing around the place, looking down at her and the few other people. That's an older gentleman, and there are 2 younger men as well, probably Elena's age, maybe students as well. It seems like, the 4 of them are being, I don't know, forced to do something here. They're doing the job, but they're clearly being guarded.
Oh my. They are being forced to do this excavation, this dig. And they're having to do it at gunpoint. That is not what archaeology is all about. Alright, well I think I know what has happened here then. This is very, very good to know. And it's good to see that Elena is alright. I try to look around to see if I see the professor. Had we already seen him down there somewhere, or...
You see an old man. You don't know exactly what the professor looks like. You didn't see him on any of the photos. But there is definitely a resemblance between him and her. You see in the way they both kind of tilts their head when they look at the same artifact. There's something there.
Yes, it would make a lot of sense if he would be the other one down there then. Well, it's good. Good we found them. Now I just try to understand who these people are and what they want. I mean, do they just want the artifact? I suppose that would make sense. Is there more to this?
Yeah. You could either go back to Harry and relate your findings, or you could take some more time and look around the place. It seems like the guards are not paying very much attention right now. With such a good roll, I will allow what you feel like.
I'll look around a little bit more before heading back to Harry, just see if there's anything more I can find out. For example, a good path for him to approach the dig site, avoiding the gaze of the guards, guessing that he's not going to be quite as skilled at sneaking as I am, but I don't want him to be seen either.
Yeah, as you're looking around, you find 3 ways to get into the dig site. 3 actual paths. Where you came was a bit the terrain way, but there is one path that's definitely leading down to the stone pier where you saw the lookout before, and then there are 2 more paths going on in different directions, and in one of them seems to be leading to a little lodge of some sort, or a cottage, and there are more of these, and you, at some point, when a guard is looking over, you find yourself diving in behind a goat, a wild goat who's standing there, grazing as well, making a bit of noise, making it easier for you to move around. So, yes, you see a few tents in the excavation, and tables with finds, washing bins, large sieves standing to one side. So everything that you would expect in an archaeological expedition. A few houses, like not houses, but lodges around the island that don't seem to be used anymore. And these 4 guards, 5 including the lookout. You're not sure if they are armed or not. You don't see any guns on any one of them, but they seem menacing enough for at least these peaceful archaeologists to abide. And one of them did say that one of the other ones had a gun.
We're gonna have to try to sneak these folks out, probably. Maybe distract the guards somehow, and then try to get the people from the dig site to come out without being noticed somehow. How many people was it in total? Would this be? Would there be enough space on the boat to take them all with us, or?
You're 2 and they are 4. It will be cramped, but not impossible. The sea is still and not too challenging. If there were a storm would be brewing, but you don't see any indications of it, then that would be dangerous. But otherwise, you should be okay.
4 people. That should also be rather, I wouldn't say easy, but should be able to sneak together. It's not like we would have to, hide a herd of people. This is a small group. This can be done, I think to myself, as I begin making my way back to Harry.
Harry, during this time when Paul has been outside or in doing his thing, his sneaky thing, what have you been doing? Have you been on the boat going around doing anything? Have you been fishing, perhaps, or enjoying the nice weather? What do you like to do during this?
Well, to be fair, I don't think I'm enjoying myself. I think we're in a rather suspicious situation. I'm keeping low, keeping an eye out, and checking over my gear once, twice, and thinking to myself, I really do hope everyone is fine. There is something very unpleasant about the air on this island. I suspect mischief, I say. So I'm trying to keep low and waiting for Paul to return so I can get the information from him quickly.
Yes, all right, then that's what you do. And do you drink in the meantime, or are you managing to keep away?
Well, it's tempting, but no, not now. No.
No, very good. All right then. So, Paul, you will find Harry down there, kind of taking cover behind the olive grove and the boat. Ooh, that would be seen if someone decided to take a track around the island, but hopefully they don't have reason to.
And when he finishes telling me the situation, I'll say, "My God, Paul, this is madness! We need to get them onto the boat, don't we?"
There's 4 of them, and there's a bunch of guards around, but if we could create some kind of distraction, perhaps we can sneak them all out and get them aboard our boat and then leave this island behind.
Distraction, you say? That's not my specialty, but I have an idea. Tell me about one of those routes, and maybe I will begin explaining to him. You see, one of my abilities, being a man of the outdoors, is I'm very good at putting up tents and fires from literally nothing. I might be able to make a small fire from a few blades of grass and one bit of rock, and maybe if these individuals see a fire or a little bit of smoke on the horizon, some of them you'd surely think would go and investigate.
You want to do this, Yen, now as a part of just now in the afternoon kind of thing, and just as quickly as possible get this done then.
Exactly. Again, I can do it very quickly. Again, it's not a massive fire. It's just more I want them to see some smoke, and I'm hoping this will then make our next action a lot easier if at least some of these guards are off looking for a fire somewhere.
This is a little complicated operation that we got going here. We're going to try and distract the guards with a fire, and as they go away, you hope to sneak in and not release necessarily, but either are you looking to resort to violence to take out some of the other guards, or are you hoping that they'll all not be looking? How are you going to get the people out?
What do you think, Paul?
Well, they will probably leave someone behind, but if there's a big enough, I don't know, explosion or fire or, well, something that would draw their attention, perhaps they will only leave one person behind. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be the one with the gun. But we can probably overcome one person with the two of us if they're not expecting us. So, yes, that's probably what we would try and do.
Let's make this into a challenge. Let's start with a roll from Paul then, because he's got the 3 this time, and decide which one that is.
We'll begin with security, rolling 29 under 65, so that goes swimmingly.
All right, you quickly figure out exactly how the guards move. It's not very complicated. They seem to be like 2 on, 2 off, taking it quite easily, not necessarily very nervous about what's happening here. Yep, great. And then Harry, what will you be rolling for first?
Of course, I need to go and get my fire started. So, survival. 56 under 75.
Yes, and of course you don't want to burn up the entire island, what you're doing. So you are able to isolate a few dry things. I mean, you could set one of the whole olive groves ablaze if you want a big fire going off, big enough moment, and you feel it will be isolated as well. Is that what you're gonna?
Yes, after all, finding the actual materials is always helpful. I mean, I've started a fire with an old shoelace and a piece of brick, so this is more than enough.
That's great. Okay then, Paul, what would be your next roll? We got 2 successes so far.
All right, then we were saying security was the first thing we did, then...
You will need to sneak in or be alert.
Then let's go with sneaking here.
Hmm.
That's a 27 under 65.
All right. As soon as you see this plume of smoke starting to rise, the guards don't really notice at first. It is one of the younger archaeologists. He's wearing a little shirt and short shorts and a little bow tie even. He looks a bit admiringly into what he's doing, but he's holding something up to the sun, and then suddenly he's shouting out, seeing this plume of smoke, and you're right there next to them as the guards start looking that way.
Still, we do need to be alert the whole time. Time for that alertness roll. And that is a 1 under 45.
Well, you quickly see that the guards' attention is drawn towards you, and you also notice that your boat is starting to drift a little bit away, so you are more than ready to go down and get the people into it once Paul has escorted them there, if he manages, and there's one more roll, I think?
Indeed, an agility roll to get out of there quickly and smoothly. That is a 49 under 65, so that too is a success. It pays off to roll against the things you're strong at, it seems.
What happens is then, Paul, you are able to get the attention of the archaeologists, and particularly what must be the professor, the old man, and you hush, showing that you are not to be discovered quite yet, and he nods quickly and grabs his granddaughter's arm and hushes her as well, and suddenly all of their attention is focused on you, whereas these crooks are looking at that big plume of smoke, and they start going towards it, not thinking that anything else is going on behind them, as you then start just running. And as you run past one of the tables, you are able to even pick up some notes that you see there that for some reason you thought might be very important. Because this is such a success, well, you have a chance to pick something else up as well among the artifacts and the things that are standing there.
Well, I'll just try and pick up whatever looks the most valuable.
You find what looks like or quite ornamental jade bracelet. Yeah. That's what it looks like, at least. Jade should maybe not be the most common in this civilization, but that's what it looks like. Right, and you start running, and as soon as you are, like, on the edge of the camp, as crazy as it would be that you would get away completely, that's what it looks like. Harry is already starting up the engine as you start getting into the boat, and you are hearing suddenly a big alarm. People are shouting and screaming, and they have no idea where you are just all gone, because you were not even following the main paths. And the archaeology students, they are keeping quiet, looking at each other wide-eyed. And the professor, he sees you, Harry.
Oh, Harry, it's you, Harry.
Damn straight it is, my old friend. Don't worry, we've got this all handled. We just need to be quiet for a moment, and then, by God, we're going to get you out of the situation. We can explain it all on the journey back.
And do you decide then to lay low for a bit, or are you just going to get in the boat and drive away?
I think it's time to get out of here. Don't you think so, Paul?
I agree.
And that's what you do. You set off on your boat with all the archaeologists, some notes, and even a nice-looking artifact in tow. This might seem like the end of it, but what exactly is this trouble going to cause? Where do these artifacts end up? Are they going on the black market? And what's all this about fakes being made that are so hard to distinguish from the real thing that they require labs to investigate it? Well, we shall have to find that out in our next session, because there is clearly going on a lot more here than you first bargained for.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played The Minoan Affair for the Troubleshooters. The Troubleshooters is published by our friends at Helmgast, who have also kindly sponsored this series. The music was made by Phonotech, featuring a number of collaborations with other artists, and was used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody dark ambient for your gaming table. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia Raulerson, Simon Cooper, David, Julián, Camilla, Bob Lange, Julián, Cameron, Xabier, and Antxon for their generous support. And we'd of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult of Divinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember, the octopus is about to emerge.